Brow routine.
Jesus.
Wow, I'm sunburned. Itchy nose. I can't get it open. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I filmed a brow routine for you, and let's just get on into it. Before we get into the tutorial, there's a few things that I need to go over before actually the drawing on of the eyebrows. Number one, if you're not into the whole eyebrow filling in thing, you can click out of the video right now. It's not everyone's shiz. Some people like it, some people hate it. If you feel fine without filling in your eyebrows, that's awesome for you, but if you need to fill in your eyebrows to feel better about yourself, go for it, girl. Some days I fill them in, some days I don't. It's all based on how I feel, how lazy I am, etc., etc. Second thing, don't even bother trying to fill in your eyebrows if you don't already have a good shape to your eyebrows. You're just going to get frustrated with yourself and just make a mess of everything. My number one tip with filling in your eyebrows is to always, whenever you see a hair before you're about to fill in your eyebrows, to pluck that shit. Pluck it out of there because it's just going to annoy you and it's just going to throw the whole situation off. My second tip is to get one of these guys. My mom found these at, I want to say, like a Shoppers or like a Lawton's, and they were just hanging up in the aisle. Like there wasn't a big stock of them, so I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to find them again. But what it is it's just a little eyebrow razor or like a facial razor. I know like shaving your face is a big thing right now, but I'm not really about that. But I do use it to shave my eyebrows, and what I mean by that is all I use it for is to just shave in between my eyebrows where like I get blonde, like just fuzzy hairs, and on top of my eyebrows where they're just, where peach fuzz is, where it's just like, will make makeup hard to go on and just look a little unnatural. But yeah, it's a lifesaver. Also, if you're just too lazy to pluck your eyebrow, you just fucking razor that shit right off and it's perfect. Last tip to remember when you're going to fill in your eyebrows is your eyebrows are sisters. They are not twins. They're not going to look the same every time. Something's going to be different about one than the other and you're going to get frustrated, but don't. Your eyebrows are meant to be sisters, not twins. They're not supposed to look alike. They're just supposed to be similar, have similar interests and commons and genes and all that jazz. So just take your time if it's your first time filling your eyebrows. It gets easier with practice and practice. You're going to have bushy eyebrows one day and then the other day they're going to be different. Just calm down. It's going to be okay. Take your time. And in the end, they will look lovely. So now that I'm done rambling, let's just jump right on into the video. Alright, so the first thing you want to do before you start filling in your brows is to make sure that you have a good outline to go by. So that means this would be the time to pluck any like sparse hairs you see or any just flyaways, trim them up. And then once you do that, we can jump right into filling them in. So what I use to fill in my eyebrows is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the color taupe. I don't use the color blonde because I'm more ashy than I am like warm tones. So if you have like a warmer color blonde hair, I'd use the color blonde. But if you have ashier color, I'd use the color taupe. So all it has is the crayon on one end and the spoolie on the other. So to start off, after I've plucked any hairs that need to be plucked, I take the spoolie and I just brush them out first to get all the hairs going in the direction that they grow. And then I just get the shape that I'm going to want to go by. So this is the part where I'd go in with my crayon, and what I do is I start by tracing the front of my brow and working my way backwards. So we're just going to draw a line underneath our eyebrows. Alright, now that we have our extremely harsh line drawn on our eyebrow, we're just going to start to fill in the middle of the brow. And now I take my spoolie and I start to blend it. Alright, now that we have that blended out, all that does is get rid of the harsh line we drawed on. And just remember, in makeup, blending is your best friend, so just take your time. Another good tip is don't even bother trying to do your brows if you're in a rush because you need to take your time or else you're just going to look like you have Sharpie brows. Now that I have the bottom line blended, I'm going to start to define my arch a little bit. So how I do that is I just connect it where the top of my brow starts to curve, and I just bring it up a little higher, and I just do very, very small itty bitty baby strokes, because you can always add more when in some cases you can't take away. You can take away with like concealer, but it's just easier to just do it right the first time. So just small strokes. And all this is going to do is like lift our eyebrows up a little bit. So just adding a little more each time. And then starting to feather it back into the front of the brow. There, that's all I'm really going to do to define my arch. Now we're going to work on the tail. I don't have much of a tail of an eyebrow. I don't really know why. All my hairs just kind of grow really long instead of growing out here. So when I trim my eyebrows, I kind of lose the tail. But it's not a big deal. I just draw it back on. So what we're going to do is, instead of starting to connect it with what we just drew on, we're going to connect it with the hair that we already have. So I just take it, and instead of going like down, I want to go more out. So just take it, follow where the tip of your brow stops, and just go out like that. Now you have a hole where I created my arch and my tail, so I just fill that in. Just like that. Now that we have the hard part done of our brow, we're going to fill in the front. And all I do is I take my brow wiz and just very carefully start like giving it hair-like strokes in the front. And then I just keep blending until it's like as full as I want it to be. There. Now you could leave it like this, but I don't really like the whole really square front of the eyebrow. So a trick that I do is I just take my finger, and where I've made a fake point right here, I just rub my finger over top of it to make it disappear. And then you don't have such a square shaped front of your brow. Okay, so now that we're done using the brow wiz, I'm going to move on to the second part that I do to fill in my eyebrows, which is I take the Naked Basics palette, just the original one, and I take the color Naked 2. I take the color Naked 2, and on a little angled brush, I just fill in the places where I had to draw something on just to make them a little darker, just so it doesn't stand out as much. So I just take it on my brush, and I just put it on the arch that we drew on. And the tail. So once that's on, I take what's ever left over on my brush and I just run it through the fronts of my brow. And then I take the spoolie end of my brow wiz and I blend everything together. Now the next step that I do is just, if I feel like doing it, if I feel like being a little extra, I'll take my concealer and my concealer brush and I will carve out my eyebrows, is the technical makeup term for it. So I just take a little bit on my brush and all I do is I put it under my brow and on top. And all this is going to do is really sharpen up what you've done and just make it look more defined. And also, if you have any like black dots of hair that you can't get, like they're just coming in but they're not ready to be like plucked, this is a great way to conceal them. So now I just take my beauty blender and I just blend it out very, very carefully, not to mess up any of the hard work we just did. And now for the finishing touch, I just take my Anastasia Clear Brow Gel and set them in place so they don't get all wonky through the day. And that's pretty much it. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to be notified when I post a new video, and make sure to like the video if you learned anything new or if you just enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!